Greetings, flesh creatures. It is I, Megatron. On behalf of TFYLP, I want to congratulate you for listening to the most refined collective podcast on this miserable little planet Earth. Yes. Here you'll find knowledgeable fans discussing every aspect of Transformers and beyond. Now, enjoy the show while I continue my path to complete conquest of all of you miserable biological entities. Predacons, terrorize!
Kitty.
Hi, welcome to TFYLP, episode 382 for a Memorial Day Monday. So, hello out there. To Zaldron, we started on time because Ann is not part of the cast today, so you can let her know that. Make sure and let her know that in the Discord that's the reason we started on time.
Poor Anna.
Damn, you went there.
So, yeah, and so welcome to everyone in the chat. So I guess the topic for tonight that we're actually going to talk about is the Netflix show, which is not premiered yet. So we actually don't even have an exact date. They said it was going to come in June.
We'll talk about that.
What's that?
We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, that'll be the first thing, I guess, that we talk about. So I don't know. I mean, first, do we want to get off on like a 5 or 10 minute tangent, or just dive right in?
Say hi to Roxy. She's here.
There you go.
Oh.
So I guess like let's just get into as far as the show. So the Netflix show, it was announced at, was it SDCC last year? Is that right? Or was it before
Toy
that?
Fair last year.
Toy Fair
2019.
Right.
And it was one of those.
Nothing.
For
Yeah,
a
like-
year.
Yeah.
No things
It was.
for an entire year.
Yeah.
Way to promote a show.
Well,
So why is that? Does anyone have any clue why we've heard nothing about this show? No?
I got nothing.
No.
The only thing I think is that it's bad.
Okay,
mean,
well, that's not fair. I have every
I-
faith that the show that will be, much better than the previous.
Yes, it looks better than the previous ones.
Yeah.
Which is true.
I think part
But
of it is that okay, so if you compare that to like there's a He-Man show coming out on Netflix as well, and I think Kevin Smith is involved, and I think there's a couple other famous people like that voiced some of the characters as well. If I'm like but I think part of the reason why there's been more press on that, or there was previously, is because Kevin Smith has a podcast where he talks like every week, and then also I think some of the other people that are on the show as well, that they're sitting there talking about things as well. And so I think that just the fact that like I don't think that this particular show has any famous voice actors, right? Like I mean, I think that they've used maybe a few previous ones, but we haven't really heard a lot about the voice actors in general, which I don't necessarily think is.
I don't remember.
I think isn't Frank doing the voice?
I'm not sure what's been confirmed and what I'm allowed to say.
Okay. I couldn't remember
Right.
if he was doing it or not. I guess we could go to the IMDb page or whatever on the thing.
We should do that so that I know what's public. Hang on.
But I was gonna say, so there was a show that came out for the Combiner Wars trilogy a few years ago, and I guess was it this Machinima did that one, and is this a different?
There were
three of them?
three, and they were all trash. They were all so bad, and they all came out super late. And this show is called Siege.
Right.
On Siege. So we're presuming that they're going to try the same 3 thing again, and
That is correct.
Still super late. And I don't know what's up with that. I don't know why they are doing that.
Apparently, it doesn't have an IMDb page.
Yeah,
Oh,
it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So here's the other thing. They showed us the trailer at Toy Fair this year, and it looks great.
Yeah.
Megatron's a little bit lippy. People complain about that. He looks fine to me. Whatever. It looks awesome. I think they had the director or the showrunner talk about it for about 30 minutes beforehand, or maybe it was only 3, but it felt like it because he didn't know what he's talking about. But it's happening. And it's announced for this summer, and then it got changed to June. But June is about 2 weeks away. There's no release date anywhere. There's been no more trailers. No one else has talked about it. I know we're in virus times, and that's probably interfering with a lot of things, but they were hyping it up at Toy Fair to be a big release. And they've been hyping it up for a while. And to hear nothing about it this close to release is alarming to me.
There is a Netflix page for it at the very least. Like I have found the title page on Netflix website. So that's something. It does
not include the trailer. It doesn't include anything.
It doesn't.
And so, like, all of the Netflix shows have come out for, like, the announcements for the June shows have already come out. Like, you have that when you go to, like, whatever, various websites, they're like, what's going to be new on Netflix for June? There's a whole list of stuff. And 95% of everything has a date. And it says that, it might be June 1st, it might be June 10th, whatever. But the Transformers does not. It just says June TBA, which I think is, completely crazy. So,
all right, I did find a complete cast list if that's helpful to anybody. Entertainment Weekly published one.
Oh, nice. So who's on it?
When that trailer dropped on February 22nd, EW put this out. And so according to this list, Megatron is Jason Marnocha. Optimus Prime is Jake, I'm going to screw up these names, and I apologize in advance to all the people whose names I'm going to mutilate here. Bear with me. Optimus Prime is Jake Fushi. Elita 1, Lindsay Rousseau. Joe Zieja is Bumblebee. Our pal Frank Tadaro is Starscream. Raphael Goldstein is Ratchet. Keith Silverstein is Jetfire. Todd Habercorn is Shockwave and Red Alert. Edward Bosco is Ultra Magnus and Soundwave. Bill Rogers is Wheeljack. Sophia Isabella is RC. Brooke Chalmers is Impactor. Sean Hawkins is Mirage. Kaiser Johnson is Ironhide. Miles Luna is Teletran 1 and Cliffjumper. And Mark Witten is Sideswipe and Skywarp. And it says at the very bottom of the article, a premiere date is also under wraps. So, that's not helpful.
So, yeah, I don't recognize a lot of the names on that list, but I don't necessarily think that's a horrible thing, because I know that, again, the Combiner Wars trilogy, I think for Titans, was it Titans Return or the Power of the Primes one, where they brought in, like, Mark Hamill and some other famous people, didn't they? Yeah.
Power of the Primes.
Yeah, Power of the
Ron
Primes.
Perlman and Mark Hamill were in that one.
Yes. So, and that really didn't help, so...
It did not.
I would rather them focus on the animation. I mean, obviously you want everything to be good. I mean, you want good voice acting, but I don't necessarily know that I need famous people to do it. So,
no, I just need good writing.
Yeah,
I'm happy to have up and coming voice talent with real talent, and if that's who all these folks are, that's great. They'll be great. So let's see what they got.
Exactly.
Are we going to see what they got? I am concerned about it. I mean, if it's supposed to be such a major release, and I don't know, maybe it's just us reading into it, but it has its own toy line. That seems like it would be a major release. We should know when it's coming out. There should be more stuff about it.
Okay, well, to be fair, it doesn't really have its own toy line. It has its own set of store-exclusive repaints that were quick and easy for them to do. That's a horse of a different feather. It's not like here's the separate Cyberverse subline for the Cyberverse cartoon. It's like, no.
I don't know, man. We just found out it's 3 waves at least.
Sure. And it's 3 shows.
That's a lot of figures. No, it's not. It's the Siege ones that are.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Waves. Yeah.
Wow. That's
like
crazy.
They're coming this year. It's not 3 years down the line when we get the last one. We're getting 3 waves for Siege. So
I guess Walmart has decided that store exclusives work.
They like their reissues.
Yeah,
I guess. I don't know.
I guess.
So we'll talk about the toys. We're definitely going to do
Yeah,
that.
we'll talk about that later. But as far as the episodes for the show, did they confirm? Are the episodes like the 13-minute or 11-minute whatever episodes?
22 minutes.
Are they 20 minutes? Good.
It is.
Really?
It is six 22-minute episodes. Right.
Wow. That's actually somewhat impressive for animation nowadays, because I feel like everything that drops now, even on Netflix or wherever else, is those like little 11-minute or whatever half. But I think that's one of the things that kind of was a failing of the last show, was the fact that like the episodes. How long were the episodes for the? Was it 5 minutes?
6 minutes?
Yeah.
Because they were trying to mess with what was Machinima or whatever the place was that was hosting. That was their format, so they were trying to just go with that, I guess.
Well, and Cyberverse came after that, and they have 11-minute episodes, and that annoys me to no end.
Well, 11-minute episodes is the Cartoon Network format right now, right? Everything on Cartoon Network is currently board-driven, and so when a show is board-driven, they've been doing them in these shorter chunks. That's just how they repackage their stuff. It's. Okay. I guarantee you that was something the network asked for more than anything else. Just because that's how they. Well, it's just what it is right now.
Cyberverse wasn't directed at people like us.
Right. Anyway. We're not the target audience here.
Not the target audience. We are the target audience for this Netflix show, which is interesting because we haven't had a show in a while.
Yeah, that's very true. Guess we'll see.
I hope we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm not skeptical that it will come out. I think it will come out. It's just, it's weird for it to be this silent.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you were saying earlier about Kevin Smith talking up He-Man. Kevin Smith is his own hype machine. Who is a hype machine for Transformers? Who's doing that work? Who's doing that public interaction?
They had interns on the Facebook and Instagram last week hyping up the new movie that was announced for 2022. They were showing the current Studio Series figures, misidentifying them.
Or what movies I was going to say, they had interns doing it poorly at that.
Like, hey, the whole week was announcing that there's a new movie in 2022. So where is that kind of promotion for the Netflix show?
A lot more money.
I mean, I think that once we actually know when the Netflix show's coming out, then they'll probably start hyping it more, because, like, if somehow the show's not coming out till the end of June. Do you really want them promoting it now? Like, it's almost like you want them, like, you really don't need them necessarily to promote this stuff until right before it drops. Like, the way everything on Netflix is so, like, literally, like, one show could be the top one, this week, and then another one's next week. But I'll be really interested to see, like, how it works, because I noticed Netflix has a new thing where they actually, like, rank the shows, like the new trending shows. And so, like, for instance, like Avatar the Airbender, which is a fantastic show, by the way, is like number one, or was number one whenever I was like, pulling up Netflix a couple days ago. And so, like, that's one of the things, like, I would feel like for Transformers, like, you got to get in that top 10. Like, you really want to try to get up there, or at least, like, when it comes, so that way people are actually talking about it and all that.
For comparison, the She-Ra Season 5 trailer dropped 2 weeks before Season 5 came out. BoJack Horseman Season 6 came out about a month before the season actually came out. If any of that data is useful to extrapolate from, there it is.
So was the She-Ra trailer, was that like we already have a trailer for Transformers, right? Like, was it a second trailer, or was that was the only one?
Those were the only ones because they were continuing seasons. Right? It wasn't like the brand new show. I'd have to go back further and look for, like, the premiere stuff. But I imagine that somewhere 30 days to 2 weeks before, we'll get something a little more concrete. Maybe an additional trailer or something. We'll probably see some more info around then. Seems right.
Yeah, I mean, I do think one thing with Transformers fans is that, we do a fair amount of hyping stuff up ourselves, like at least on social media and Facebook and things like that. And so I do think that, like, compared to She-Ra, which I actually saw a fair amount, like when that came out, when that dropped, there was a fair amount of traffic on Twitter. But I do think that no matter if it's good or bad, I mean, you're going to see a lot of people hyping the show and talking about it, either good or bad. So
it's weird. I think it's just weird that there's so much silence. I mean, they were silent for a whole year between toy fairs, and now they dropped the stuff at Toy Fair this year, and there's been nothing since.
Yeah.
Except for the toys.
Well, and I think, like, I don't know if Hasbro even, I don't know, some of their marketing just in general. I mean, the same thing with some of the Cyberverse as well. Like, when that dropped, like, because the newest season 3, like, that kind of snuck up on us as well, right? Or was it season 2? Whatever the newest one is.
Did they have a season 3? I have no idea.
What's the new, whatever the new one is, that came out. I think it was season 3.
That's the one that had Repugnance and Tarn in it.
Yeah, the new one.
Okay, cool. Dude, I don't know. I'm not in Cyberverse. I have no clue.
I'm buying all the toys, but I am so distanced from the cartoon at this point. I couldn't tell you anything about it, and it's a shame.
All right, so
like, I want to love all this stuff, but I don't know anything about the Cyberverse cartoon. It's on at some weird hour.
I've heard it's good. I mean, the thing with Cyberverse, though, is like they put everything up on the YouTube page, and I think the past seasons are on Netflix as well. So, I mean, at least you can watch it that way. I mean, that was my frustration with this older, the prior Combiner Wars trilogy, is like it was on some kind of weird app that you had to go 90 or whatever.
Go 90 or whatever.
Yeah. So
it did make it to YouTube briefly.
Yeah,
until it got pulled down.
Shouldn't have died. So, yeah. So we want to talk about toys because they've launched a line, or as Nick says, a series of store exclusives to promote this show. And all the packaging says go to Netflix and look at this show. The show is not available. It doesn't have a date on the packaging. So it just says go to Netflix and look at these characters, and you can see some of them here. Here's my blue camera made of 3 scrap faces. Fun stuff.
We don't even know if he's going to do that in the show or not yet.
We don't, but I wanted to do it, so he now does it.
Sure.
So we have...
I was going to say, before we start on the show...
Voyagers, a leader.
Before we started on the toys or whatever, Sean, I didn't know, like, did you have any thoughts on the show or the lack of promotion?
No, I'm just, there's not been a lot of news about it, so I'm just patiently waiting. It's, it'll come out when it comes out, and then I'll watch it, and I'll figure out how good it is, and if it sucks, it sucks. If it's good, it's good, but same old. I mean, there's nothing you can do. Just wait.
I mean, I'm sure just in general, like, with the media, you know, I know that, you know, we're all pretty big IDW fans from the old IDW, right? I mean, I know that, you know, More Than Meets the Eye and whatnot has a special place in all of our hearts. And so, I mean, I feel like I'm so starved for good Transformers media. Like, it's been a while. That I really want, like, a compelling, you know, story. And so I think that's, you know, some of the hype they've talked about with some of the new movie potential stuff and all that is something. But again, that's all potential. It's like, this is the thing that it's like we're at the precipice. We're almost here. And God, I just hope this show doesn't suck.
Please don't suck.
Please don't suck.
Don't suck.
I'm happy to give it a shot. I got a good feeling about this one. It's got to be better than the last one, but you know, please don't suck.
So anyway, so Christian, you can go ahead and talk about the toy line. I apologize for interrupting you.
Toys. We have a set of deluxes. We have 2 Voyager packs, and we have a leader pack. And
the leader pack in the world's worst packaging ever.
I'm going to disagree with you on that one.
Oh, come on.
I want to get to that.
Okay. All right.
So, deluxes. Those are the most common ones. They come in a case of 8. That's where I have an issue. Not they come in case of A. Everything comes in case of A. That's totally fine. But the case breakdown is 2 Sideswipe, 2 Hound, a Chromia, 2 Mirages, I think, and a Scrap Face. Or is it 2 Chromias, a Mirage, and a Scrap Face? Either way, Scrap Face is a short pack, so I've had a heck of a time finding 3 of them.
So, the 3 figures that are basically straight repaints of previous releases with almost nothing changed except the battle damage deco.
Yes.
2 per case. And then the
case.
interesting Mirage.
Yep.
And the new character.
Yep. And the only Decepticon. Because Mirage isn't a Decepticon deco, but he's not a Decepticon. So the only Decepticon in per case.
The other thing I think is funny about Scrapface. What is Scrapface? Is he a Decepticon?
Scrapface is a Decepticon.
No, he's an Autobot, isn't he?
He's a Decepticon. That's why I said he's a Decepticon. Don't give me that face.
He's got Autobot colors. He's red and blue.
Oh my god. Oh no, my recycling just went, so never mind. I don't have
I'm looking it up.
I'm right, Nicholas.
I was gonna say, can't you just look on the figures? Do they not have tampos?
Oh yeah, he is. He is a Decepticon. My brain just coded him as an Autobot.
There you go. Boom.
There you
Okay,
go.
you're right.
So the 1 Decepticon is 1 per case.
So
the big deal for me though, as I've been hunting around with these, and granted my hunting hasn't been as intense because of Corona, and I've been trying to keep it sane, which is hard for me to do. Every store I've been to has had at least one of each Hound and Sideswipe, if not both of them still on the pegs. This is where I have the huge problem. I know that Walmart is trying to work with the bankable characters, and Hound and Sideswipe are both 84 dudes. That's how it works. But we just got them. I mean, I talked to Lucas about this the other day because he was like, Christian, why don't you get them? They fall within your purview. You know, they're different decos. They should be different. I'm like, but Lucas, I have a red Sideswipe already from that mold, and I have a green Hound already from that mold.
Yeah.
I don't need them again. I will be getting them again if they go on clearance so I can get the other pieces of Teletran, but that's it.
Oh, that's so evil.
Yeah. But like Nick said, they're half the case by themselves. They're shelf warming like crazy already. I mean, it's not a good look.
If you're gonna refresh the assortment with these guys that have been shelf warming anyway, why not go with Ironhide since he was one of the harder to find figures from the first series? He was doing.
I think he's listed for one of the next 2 waves.
Oh, really? Okay, well,
is he?
I'll just shut up because I didn't look ahead and I don't know anything.
I didn't think he was. I think there's an Ironhide. No, there's an Ironhide coming out in Earthrise. That's separate. It's not the. It's not the Siege one.
I thought there was also a Netflix one coming out. Don't quote me on that one though. I don't have the list in front of me.
I don't think so. I don't believe he is one of the ones.
I do want to talk about this because there's some interesting figures on that list. But let's talk about the ones that are currently out first.
Okay.
So the one thing I was gonna say too, the other thing is like that Mirage figure. Did that come out? Was Mirage Wave 4? Is that right, or was it Wave 5?
5, because 4 was barricaded by himself.
Siege. But nevertheless, I felt like Mirage was actually somewhat hard to find. I don't really see a lot of Mirages. Now, again, I don't necessarily know that, if I'm trying to get my, one perfect Mirage, that I would be getting this Netflix one just because it's Decepticon colors and all that. I think it's a cool alternative deco. But, the Hound and Sideswipe, but I think, again, it's ironically enough, that Hound especially was in the, there was, a Walmart shipper for Christmas that was, the 35th anniversary figures and all that, and that came with a Hound as well. And so, I feel like some of those are still on the pegs in a lot of places, and then they're getting this new Hound as well. So
it kind of seems like in that assortment, Mirage is meant to complement the previous Mirage, where Sideswipe and Hound are meant to and Chromia are meant to replace the previous versions. So they're dueling objectives. And I do understand if you have people who weren't, if not us, looking at kids, if Sideswipe and Hound are not on shelves anymore because the line is a year and a half old, and they're big in the show and kids want them, they need to be available.
Right.
I do get that. And that's what it is. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Plus Walmart wants to bank on 84 dudes, and they were easy to tool up. That's fine. I understand. Doesn't mean you have to like it. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying I don't like it. Not that it's bad or anything. I'm saying I don't like it.
I believe you've discovered the method to the madness there, Christian.
Yeah, I've been in this game a long time. I understand. So you want to talk about Voyagers?
Yeah, so I guess as far as
deluxes.
Am I missing someone with deluxes?
Yes.
Chromia, did you mention
thing about the deluxes, the way that they make you buy each one, even if you don't want to, is the backdrop.
The backdrop.
The backdrop.
Yeah.
Did you show the backdrop?
I did.
Here are these toys that I wasn't going to open. Now I might have to open them all.
I don't know.
Hey, I have 2 extra scrap face ones. If anyone needs those and wants to trade me a Sideswipe and a Hound, that'd be phenomenal. But yeah, the deluxes all come with these backdrops. This one came with Chromia, and it's got all the computer bits of Teletran, and it looks really cool. This is the scrap face one. It's just like blank wall, which is less cool, but still important.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's floor.
Christian, you should message me about those backdrops when we're done here.
Intriguing.
Yeah, Mirage and Scrapface are both floor pieces.
Huh.
Oh, cool. I had a Mirage piece, but I sent it to Anna with the Mirage.
I mean, I do think that it's kind of neat that they are putting those backdrops in as pieces. Like, I think it's kind of an interesting way to do, because, like, I would have to assume that it is not costing them a lot of money to print up some more cardboard, you know, right? Like, it probably costs them, like, 10 cents or something, right? Whereas...
But this is fairly quality. It's not thick. It's very thin.
Yeah.
But, like, the print quality on it is very good. Like, it's not just trash. Like, it's pretty good.
So
I'd be happy to put that in a Detolf.
I know, like, Toy Hacks does some backdrops themselves, and there's other companies and whatnot that do it. So, but I think it's kind of a neat thing to try out. It's something that I don't think Hasbro has done before. So it's, you know, I know they're doing the Build-A-Figure with the Cyberverse Deluxes, and so, you know, I don't even
Which is
know
awesome, and the only way that could be any better is if it actually transformed. But just to get a posable action figure, just for buying the whole assortment, that's awesome. That's totally the way to go. I'm in hook, line, and sinker. Doesn't matter what else you do in the wave. Just give me the characters you wouldn't make otherwise that way, and I'm, you know, happy as a clam, man. Awesome.
I think the expectation in Generations line in general is that things are better quality, more detailed, and do transform. So I don't think it would necessarily translate to there.
See, you say that, but I'd rather have the McAdam than the backdrop.
I agree, I suppose. I've heard that the quality on it is not very good. The one piece I have is not very good. But I think this is a good compromise for now. Unless they're going to make, like, you know, Kaon or, you know, Tesserus as a Build-A-Figure that way. And not have, like, Kaon is problematic because he transforms into a torture device. But if he doesn't transform, he doesn't transform into a torture device.
Problem solved.
Problem solved. So... stuff like that, you know, maybe they'll do it, maybe they won't. Maybe they're testing both and buying simultaneously to see which one fares better. I don't know. I would like to keep both.
Someone in the chat just called out a Build-A-Figure Alpha Trion, and I would throw a lot of money at that because he never transforms in the original show anyway. So, yeah, let's do it. Give me that.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, for myself, like, I'd rather not have to worry about a Build-A-Figure. I guess it's a little bit different with Transformers because, like, I buy everything with Transformers, whereas Marvel Legends, it would annoy me to no end that, like, there would be a Build-A-Figure I'd want, and it's like, I don't want most of the figures from this wave. Please, God.
A bunch of times. It's hard.
Yeah. I mean,
it's
at least
hard to get the pieces you want, and it's hard to sell the pieces you want to get rid of.
Right.
Both of those things are very difficult.
And it's hard
Usually
to sell
Nick
figures
just
you
gets my
don't
leftover
want.
pieces like a year later.
And it's also hard to sell the like figures you don't want that are crap from the wave. They're just coming with a piece, kind of thing. But the one thing at least Hasbro now is giving us like repaints like a year or two later of those figures. Like, so at least you can get them without having to spend $100 or whatever. Like, this was always annoying. So, but nevertheless, so I guess the for the Voyagers, which are
we got Megatron and Hot Link, and if you've been tuning into us for a little bit, we've already talked about Hot Link a little bit and how Paul more than I am, but we're both on a crusade against people using Hot Link as Skywarp because it's not Skywarp, it's Hot Link.
It's not your toy. Let them play with it how they want.
Nope, that's not allowed. Call it what it is. If you were too slow to get Skywarp, then sorry, you got Hot Link now.
What happened to imagination, man? Isn't that what these toys are about?
Call me out
I
like
mean,
that.
I'll dare say that I think Hot Link is a better looking figure than Skywarp anyway.
It absolutely is.
Wow.
It's very pretty.
Okay, I'm going to have to compare those when I get the Hot Link
Both
in
of
here.
the Voyagers come with 2 Battle Masters apiece. Megatron is very cool because he comes with an accurate lionizer, accurate-ish lionizer, and comes with Pinpointer for crosshairs, which is great.
Yeah.
And then Hot Link comes with 2 new characters. They had some sort of sibling name. I don't remember what they are anymore, but they are named Heatstroke and Heartburn. And they are very cool. I think it's a good value pack. It's a $40 pack. You get a Voyager that's nicely painted up and 2 Battle Masters apiece.
Yeah.
I think that's good value. Plus,
I
the
think
Megatron looks phenomenal in metallic paint.
I think the Voyagers are great just because I'm always happy to get more Target Masters. Keep them coming.
Target Master.
Well, I think
Sean, you picked any up yet?
No.
Huh?
Have you picked up any Voyagers?
No, I saw both the Voyagers, but I skipped them. I've got the cartoon repaint of Megatron, and I'm happy with that one, and I have Skywarp. So,
and I think really that kind of goes to the crux of the show, and why we wanted to have this topic. We were kind of talking overall about Netflix, but I know there's one of the things that, like, I think a couple weeks ago, Christian kind of had like a mini breakdown of, with the Megatron and going like, why? Like, this is, what is this, the 4th version of Megatron? Is that right? Of this mold?
Yeah, 4.
Yeah. So the 4th version of this mold, and you're like, finally, it's like the one I actually want. Like, it's the nicest looking one.
What's the 4th one? I got the original
4th one's
Siege,
gonna be
the
Earth
cartoons.
Rise.
Yep.
Oh,
Combat Hero.
okay.
Yeah.
Got it. I forgot.
So my breakdown is, why is it taking this long to get one that's actually, painted? And the cartoon one looks really good. I just don't go for cell shading. If you do, that one looks really good. I thought about it a lot, and that wasn't for me. But the metallic paint one is so good.
Yeah.
Like, I've had that stupid, crappy, unpainted gray Siege one in my display
I like
case.
that one just fine. It doesn't bother me. Yeah.
Well, you have more fortitude than I have. I got standing there leading the Decepticons in my case, and it looks so bland. I've got it posed between Nightbird and Barricade. That's just a bad combination because those two are phenomenal looking, and the crappy one was crappy. The metallic one, it brings out every detail that mold has because it's great. I think it's a good mold. I won't say it's like a phenomenal mold, but the paint on it this time,
I don't hate it.
Great.
Okay.
No, I mean, that's one of those things, like, I kind of felt the same way as Nick about that Megatron before, is I was like, this is a really nice looking Siege Megatron. It's okay. It's still probably at the time, was the best Chug Megatron, right? Like, or best Hasbro or whatever, Voyager Megatron. But there was just something about it that you're like, it's fine. But then, like, this one comes out, and you're like, God, this one looks so much better. Like, that paint on the new one looks amazing. And so, again, like, if you're if you're not a crazy person that buys everything, it bothers you to be like, oh, like, I bought something before, and then now they're coming out with a far superior, deco for the show.
And that's the issue I have overall with this line. You have Megatron, Hound, Sideswipe, Chromia, and Magnus. And we haven't talked about Magnus yet, but we will.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. They're essentially the same as they were before. They're improved. But why are they improved now? Why weren't they improved then?
Are they all improved? Or are they all just different for the sake of being different? Because I got to tell you, I think Hound is just different for the sake of being different. Those toys are equal in my eyes, and I couldn't pick one over the other.
Chromia is improved. She is the one I have.
Okay, I haven't seen her in person yet. I've seen the Sideswipe and the Hound in person, and that's it.
Sideswipe looks exactly the same to me.
Right. Yeah, so, again, not improved. So...
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Well, then just Megatron. If they had the capability to paint it this way originally, why didn't they?
Pumpkins cost money.
Well, I think it's interesting too. You see the paint budget where they did not paint any of the weapons, and so on the retail toys, all the weapons are painted, and then on these particular toys, they're all gray. And if you look,
except for Scrapface.
Oh,
except for Scrapface.
Okay.
His shields are all painted.
Okay, wow. You're right.
But
I'm sure they probably
besides that, yes,
were doing that so that it looked better or whatever when you buy your 3 scrap faces.
Well, you're not supposed to buy 3. They're only 1 per case. He doesn't do that in the show. He's not a camera.
Well, we don't know that he does it in the show, or not, or he does. Who knows? We don't know anything.
We don't know. We don't know anything. If you're watching in the future, we don't know yet. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I think right. For me, I think that the paint and the decos on the figures are nicer. I don't think that Megatron is really the only one that I would want to upgrade. If I wasn't collecting all of them, that I would be I definitely want that one versus the other ones. I think the Sideswipe looks nice, but I don't think it's nicer or that much nicer. I think the Chromia is, again, nice, but it's not something where I have to have this amazing looking version of Chromia. And honestly, I might even take the old generation's Chromia over any of these anyway.
Yeah, I still prefer that one.
So
yeah, I saw pictures of that one again this weekend. I was like, ooh, why do we even have 2 of the Siege ones when I just have that one? Ugh.
Yeah.
Tough.
Yeah, pick that one up. I'm sure it's probably cheap, so.
I still have it, don't worry.
So.
I have the Legends one. Ugh.
But I think for me, I just would rather see the decos that are completely different. I think that Mirage is fantastic. It's so neat to get a completely, different repaint versus, the old one. Where that's what, the Hound and the Sideswipe, you're do I really need this again?
Yep, but we mentioned that it's probably for kids or new viewers to pick up while the show is on air or whatever. But has it been mistimed? Have the toys been mistimed? Because the show's not on.
Well, the toys have to be sold to Walmart so far in advance.
True.
There's no doubt in my mind that the show just wound up getting delayed. It was probably targeted to drop sooner, and Walmart had already put in all these purchase orders, so they shipped product. It is what it is. You don't push back the stuff you sold to Walmart. You push back your show. You can control the release of the show. You can't control when Walmart wants the product.
So I would say though too essentially these are dropping at the time of the show because they got one small initial wave in that all of the collectors went and wiped out, like us. But if you're just going to have the kid that's randomly at Walmart that watched the show on Netflix that wants to pick up a figure, it's going to be the saturation wave, which is what's happening now. And so pretty much I guess it started happening over the weekend where Walmart started getting these shippers in and I don't know if you've seen that, when they usually have a promotional item, before they had Scooby-Doo, I think last month, and then now they have it. So it's this giant thing that sits in the middle of the aisle that has, and I guess this particular shipper, I think I had, what was it, Earthrise figures, Netflix figures, and then it also had Cyberverse Deluxes as well, right?
Yep.
So they have a big promotional end cap display, is what you're saying?
It's a middle of the aisle thing,
Right.
not an end cap thing, but
Oh.
yeah. It's a big mamma jamma.
It's a similar to what they had for the 35th anniversary figures, but I think that one was an end cap, and I think this is actually one of those middle aisle things. So, so it has a pretty.
I haven't been out to a store in weeks.
Amount of well, I haven't either. I saw it online. So, and I think, are they saying that each there's like 3 or 4 of each figure in those shippers? I think even of like the Voyagers.
What?
Sorry,
Cut out.
Are you cutting? Yeah, you're cutting out, Christian.
I think it was you that was cutting out, or it's me.
Was it me? Oh, I don't know.
Good, so it's not just me having issues.
There you go.
Yes, you're right. Everybody had about 3 copies or 4 copies per figure,
Mm.
which is cool. It's a good way to actually get them out. We all thought they were just going to get 1 case and be done, because the original assortment looked to be 1 case of deluxes, 2 Voyagers. So 1 case is 2 Voyagers, and they got 1 of each, and then like 1, maybe 2 Magnuses, which was low, very low. So if you live in any size city, you're going to have more than 1 collector. It's going to be totally wiped out the first person that goes, and you're going to have Sideswipe and Hound waiting for you at the store. So this is going to be a good way for everyone to get them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's going to be plenty. I saw
you
a
have a
dozen Magnuses at Walmart.
You saw
Wow.
a dozen Magnuses?
A
Wow.
dozen. They had 2 unopened
Jeez.
cases up top, and then the bottom shelf was jam-packed full.
Gonna be a hard
It comes
sell.
2 to a case. Yeah.
See, that's
2
tough.
Magnuses.
Yeah.
I saw
I don't
one,
know.
I picked it up.
I don't know why they do that with like the leader figures, I mean, it's just such a tough sell, Like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of times your $20 deluxes are, can be an impulse purchase potentially. But man, like, what is Magnus is $60, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that's just, it's so tough to do. You really have to be, going out. So it's going to be one of those things where
And
those
the worst
Magnuses
part-
are going to be sitting around forever.
Here it is. The worst part
Here it
about
is.
that Magnus is that if you're, mommy, buy me that, and you don't know what it is and you can't see it, you're not buying that blind for your kid. That's not a thing. I don't know what this is. I'm not picking it up. We're not buying that, not for $60. You might do that on a $20 toy that had been blind boxed, but even that's a stretch. But like this should have been a 5th panel window kind of dealie, where like the flap opens and like don't open, spoilers inside, but you could open it and see the spoilers because who cares? But like this is going to be a hard sell, and they're gonna sit for a while unless something amazing happens on the show, and all of a sudden we all need that Ultra Magnus and the rung packed in.
Whoa.
I think it's going to be tough.
Spoilers, man.
Oh come on, they're everywhere at this point. Give me a break.
So I'm actually waiting to open mine until the show comes out. I know what's in there. I totally know. I've ordered an upgrade kit for already.
Sure.
It's just, it just seems like more exciting to engage with it and open it as the show comes on. Like, oh man, I don't want to ruin it. But we all know what's in there.
But we already all did that because we all saw all the news from Toy Fair, and we watch all the news sites, and we listen to these podcasts, so we already know what's in that box. So who is that designed for? Who did they design that package for? They didn't
us.
design it to
It
get
has to be
sold
us.
on a shelf at Walmart, so who is that
They
for?
did not. I will give you that. 100% you are right. This is a problem to be out in the general public.
Right.
This is a selects figure. This
Right.
is a, Pulse is going to sell this and say, hey, here's a spoiler pack. It may
Sure.
have Madness in it for, the new show that's coming out this date, and they launch it and everyone buys it to get ready for the show. I'm
But,
good
like-
with that. That's what this should be, and it's not. But I still like the concept. I want them to keep doing this, but market it correctly, launch it in the correct place.
Yeah. $60 on a shelf at Walmart is not the place.
It's not. You're 100% right about that. I still like it. I still
Yeah.
am very happy with it. I'm a Magnus guy anyway, so it's fine. But yes, it doesn't belong on that shelf with no identifiers. I mean,
now if that had been
this
the
picture
exclusive
of
set
Magnus
for
on the
your
side.
local comic shop, and we were,
Great.
pushing small business, that would be great. But in the most mass markety of mass market places, it's maybe not so great.
There's nothing on here to even tell you that this is a figure.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
Right.
this could be a whole pack of coloring books or a DVD or, what? No one. There's no way of knowing what's inside here beyond opening it, and that's not something you want to encourage
Right.
in the store because that's theft. There is this picture of Magnus on it, but like the picture. Let's see. Do any of the legalese say anything about it? I don't think so.
It has to say
Oh, wait,
somewhere
yes,
on
it
the
does.
box, contents
It
one
says-
action figure.
It says includes 2 figures, compound, 3 energon cubes, accessories, and a truck.
Yeah.
So pretty much it has
It's
all the
very-
stuff on the outside.
It's very small. It's right there. It's teeny tiny. It's also printed in several dozen languages. It also is not intended to be eaten.
I would hope not.
It's got that weird, what they're calling a compound is like.
I know, it's Play-Doh or whatever. But like,
And
you
I
don't
want-
know that that's what they mean by that, unless you're already buying Play-Doh.
No, and that's part of why I'm not opening because I want to figure out what the deal with that is. Like, is that a thing in the show or is it just a weird packaging gimmick? I want to know.
I don't think that you know anymore by opening it. I mean, it's black Play-Doh.
Yeah,
it's in it.
Open it, figure out what the deal is.
Apparently there was something with like the glyphs, where if you translated the glyphs, there are some spoilers, but like, again, all over the internet in 5 minutes, so.
Oh yeah, this thing says something, and then this part is wrong.
Rung? Okay. I thought there was more inside, too. Isn't there more inside? But you would know because you didn't open it.
I wouldn't know because I didn't open it.
Yes.
It is a really cool box, though. I mean, it looks like it's a hard case. It opens with this cool flap here, so it's a well designed package.
It looks almost like an ammo box you'd pick up in a video game, like a refill.
Yep. And I'm totally fine with that. Like I said, I really enjoy this package. I really enjoy the concept of it. But yes, Nick is right. It doesn't belong at $60 on a Walmart shelf with people who don't know what it is.
Right.
It almost reminds me of like an SDCC exclusive.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, sure. For that, great. Fantastic. You know?
Or this should have been like the Toy Fair launch. They launched the trailer, and then you can order this right now.
The same way they
Get
did
hyped
with
for the
Snake
show.
Eyes. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
That's what should have happened, and it didn't, and that's okay. But something to look for next time.
If you're going to put that at Walmart, it needs to be a 5th panel window. It needs to be one of those boxes where it opens like a book and you can look inside. But otherwise, you can't do that. It doesn't work.
But yeah, if you're gonna have like a
dozen of them, it's not promising.
Yeah, if there's a dozen of these in random, Missouri, Kansas Walmarts, like, I mean, I don't know. But again, like that could end up being a distribution thing too, where the other Walmarts don't get that many, and who knows.
Yes, I'm going to get totally screwed in the state of New Jersey because we're going to get all of 2 at my local Walmart. And meanwhile, in middle of nowhere, Kansas or wherever, they will have 50 that sit on a shelf forever. And then they'll get clearance at $3, and I'll still be over here crying that I can't get one, and the flippers will get them all and put them up at, full retail. Because that's my hell that I live in New Jersey.
Hey, it's not much better than North Carolina. East Coast gets the short end of the stick every time.
Yeah, every time.
It's a miracle I was able to get what I got.
I can't really complain about distribution around our area. It's pretty decent. We usually can drive around and find something, but of course, I guess in this new reality where you're not hunting the same, it might be different. But
I pre-ordered all of this stuff from Walmart the second it went live, so I'm just waiting on my actual sets to show up to open them. I wound up picking up a couple of pieces that got sold back to me in a toy purchase. So that's how I've seen some in person, but I'm just waiting for my Walmart delivery.
But that's the other frustrating thing is that's the other frustrating thing is that we all went up and, not all of us, but, several of us went up and ordered these, pre-ordered them as soon as we could on Walmart.com, right? Like when they went up, right? Mm-hmm. But has anyone gotten those figures? No.
What was the original delivery date, Lucas? Do you remember?
I think, wasn't
April.
it like,
it was April.
Yeah, it was April.
It was the end of April.
Yeah.
And we were like, cool, only have to wait a month and a half for this. Great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Wonderful. And then the week they were supposed to ship out, they delayed it 2 months.
They'll get there when they get there. Eat it. Oh, thanks. That's very helpful.
Also, fun fact I learned about Walmart and all of this is that if you make a pre-order over $100 from Walmart.com, they will reauthorize your card like every 3 days.
Every day. I keep seeing that
It's
chart.
every day.
Oh, whatever it is. It keeps popping up, rolling off, popping up, rolling off. And it's like, well, where's my toys, guys?
My card company finally blocked them from doing that. And so they were like, oh, yeah, we're going to cancel your order now. And I was like, can you not do that? And can you also quit authorizing it every day? Because you've already authorized it a dozen times.
Right.
Fine.
It's like the money will be there. Just.
So they're like, okay, we'll uncancel your order, but talk to your card company about it. I was like, fine. So they uncancel it, and then 2 days later they did it again.
Automated systems making everything easier.
So what I did, I ended up breaking up my orders with what was still available to order at that time.
Yeah.
I took Magnus off of my last order and made him his own separate. So it was 2 different orders under $100. They quit doing it. It's annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But the most annoying part was that they delayed it by so much. And I don't know if they got wrong dates to begin with or if the virus messed everything up or whatever. But if they had an inkling that it was not coming in April and they listed it for that anyway, I mean, that's just dishonest business practices, and that's not right.
Okay, but hang on. Here's the thing about toys. They're always late. Every toy ever in the history of anything forever is always late. It's just what it is.
Not by that much.
Well, okay, it varies, but everything forever is always at least, it's a couple weeks late, it's a month late. This is standard and has been standard for, 20 years at least. Going back to, when I started working in the comic shop, that was a guarantee. If there were toys on an order form that said they were coming out in 2 months, we weren't seeing them for 3. It's just what it is, man. Yeah, it sucks, but it's the industry. Just make the peace of it.
The thing I've noticed
about my toys.
The thing I've noticed with Walmart too, I'm just used to this because the same thing happened with those 35th anniversary figures, where those things came out. I don't even know when they ship for online people because I canceled my orders long before they were supposed to ship. So because I found them in store. And so, I mean, that's the thing that's kind of frustrating is why are they even bothering, putting these pre-orders up? And then again, if they're canceling pre-orders or doing whatever, it's what's the point of them doing this?
Yeah, if you're taking a pre-order 3 to 6 months in advance, and for whatever reason you can't fulfill that pre-order, something's wrong with your system. You need to figure out how to get the inventory to fill your pre-orders. Period. End of story. There's no reason to ever cancel a pre-order that's taken that far in advance. Sorry.
I 100% agree, but unfortunately, Walmart and Amazon and Toys R Us back in the day, it's all these they don't.
Yeah, Target's been doing it lately because they messed up Cyberverse DCPIs.
Yeah. So, but then also with this, I think we have kind of touched on a little bit. We also got a bunch of leaks from the Amazon system for the newest waves of these figures, and along with some unexpected figures. And I'm really curious, do you think that these leaked figures that came out, are any of these going to be unique to Walmart, or do you think that some of them will come out some other way, either mass retail or whatever?
There's only one I think will be maybe wider. That's because how it's listed on the Walmart page right now. It's got 4 different titles, and that's Cheetor. So we got it's like War for Cybertron, Siege, which is Netflix, and then it's something else, and then reissue.
Shoot me a link to this because I need to see the list to talk about it. I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah, let me see.
Sean can do it. I don't have
I'm doing good just to stay online right now. This whole conversation's been very laggy.
Oh,
Just having crazy lag. Oh, that sucks. Let me see. I'm sorry. I should have prepared more here.
I can probably rattle them off. Let's see if I can get them all. There was.
I mean, yeah.
I'm gonna try. There's Barricade, Alita 1,
I got
Cheetor,
it. Yeah.
B, Wheeljack, Ratchet. 2 more at least. Still 6 out of 8. That's not bad.
So are these the theory is that these will be the next wave of Walmart Netflix? Is that what we're thinking?
Next
Okay.
Did you say the Quintesson? Did you name that one off?
Quintesson. I did not say that one. Let's talk about that one because Quintesson, if it's the Earthrise one, is in the wrong assortment because they have it listed as a deluxe.
Right. Unless, for some stupid reason, they've renamed the Alicon Quintesson just for Netflix, which would make my head explode.
Probable. I mean, really, that's most likely what happened.
Yeah.
B is new. We haven't seen a listing for like an Earthrise B, but presumably it's Rita Cliff Jumper.
Yeah.
Wheeljack is probably the same thing as Sideswipe and Hound. Alita 1, the popular speculation based on the trailers that she's a repaint of the Earthrise RC mold, which would be fun. Cheetor, we don't know. I mean, that's completely out of left field. There's not a mold so far that we know about.
So here's a dumb question. If you pull out the Alita 1 and the Quintesson as Voyagers, that's 2 Voyagers and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Deluxe. Is it possible that that's what it is?
Alita 1 and Voyager 1.
Of that Combiner Wars or whatever, Power of the Primes?
Geez.
Oh, God. Please, no.
Well, I'm just saying it'd be easy. It's already done.
So one thing we didn't talk about is that the show, they're using the toy models like in the show. So they like somehow 3D scan them and whatever, and the CAD, they're using like the actual CAD models. So people have like went and taken screenshots of the trailer to try to just come up with like how the models look. So that Alita 1 is very obvious. Well, it's not very obvious, but I guess I should say it looks like it's an RC like redeco.
Okay, so we're fairly certain it really is a deluxe class RC. It's not going to be that.
More than likely.
Maybe less than stellar. Power of the Primes Alita 1.
I like your idea of pulling out Quintesson as a Voyager. That makes more sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know who the other Voyager in that assortment would be, though.
That's why I thought Alita.
Not Wheeljack.
No.
Barricade is kind of interesting.
Yeah. Gimme.
Oh, and Impactor. That's the other one. Impactor's the other one.
Yeah. And that's what, like, the Impactor one, I'm just curious, because we've already gotten an
2
exclusive. Right? Yeah, we've gotten 2 versions of the same mold. So,
yeah.
God, like, I see again, Nick, I know that you had an issue with the Impactors, right? Because you really wanted the one that was in the Amazon pack, but it had a Decepticon symbol on it, right?
Blasphemy. Utter blasphemy. How dare they?
Hey, look, I think we'll probably figure out why he has that now. That's probably in the show.
So,
I bet you he's a Decepticon in the case.
You know,
man.
then if that's the case,
again.
if he's a Decepticon, they should have left the Decepticon logo for the Netflix release. And the Amazon one should have had the Blue Wreckers logo.
And the Netflix release will have a Decepticon logo too. It'll be great.
Now, which would you rather have? Would you rather have him actually have the Autobot logo?
I would take the Autobot logo over anything else. Yeah, I mean, it makes the most sense. It's, you know, who the character is, even if his ideologies don't always align.
Now,
okay.
what if the Impactor had the Autobot logo, it had the IDW head, but in some other way it was messed up? Like there was some kind of deco issue, like he was green or something.
Oh, like if they inverted the deco and made him more, you know, purple and orange instead of orange and purple? I don't know. I mean, all of these things would make my head explode, yes.
What a messy place.
I know. But it's okay, because I took my box set Impactor and I put the little Wreckers logo on, and now he's perfect.
So if we look at this list, it looks to be, again, about half and half of revamped older figures and new characters.
Sure.
Just about roughly half and half. I'm not looking at it again, but
Bumblebee, Alita, Deep Cover, Barricade, Cheetor. Deep Cover.
Barricade's revamped older character.
Is it, or is it going to be some new mold that gets repainted?
I guess we don't know, but I would assume they would use Barricade from Barricade.
Yeah, now that you have, like you said earlier, if these are really all Siege repaints, then okay, I guess it's the same thing. But when I first saw this list, I was like, oh, maybe these are going to be Earthrise, and maybe it'll be an Earth mode Barricade. But you're right.
Well, if we're thinking Alita is Earthrise, then maybe.
Right, and the Wheeljack would have to be Earthrise.
Wheeljack is Earthrise. B has to be
Bumblebee Earthrise. Yeah. It's some weird
Bumblebee
mix.
has to be released to mass retail, right? Like, there's no way that they're going to release Bumblebee as only a Netflix character.
Well, I guess it depends on when the next Bumblebee toy is coming. If they already have Bumblebee planned for whatever, wave 3 of this saga is going to be, then maybe Bumblebee doesn't get released beyond Walmart. Or if he's a tail end of Earthrise, I guess that could be too.
Maybe. Give me Deep Cover all day, though. He hasn't had an American figure ever. And I do like that Sideswipe mold. I just don't need another Sideswipe out of it. So Deep Cover was a good choice for me to get.
Yeah.
Give me Tiger Track.
Yeah.
Way too.
But I mean, what a bizarre universe it is that we live in now that Deep Cover is going to be a mass market release at Walmart.
Now I gotta get myself a clamp down.
You're right. But
thank you, Robert.
You ever think you'd see the day where something like that would happen? Deep Cover is the sort of character who was limited to things like, botcons and obscure Takara repaints. Never something you walk into, your local store and buy.
Yep. It's gonna be great.
Cool.
I hope it's true. I hope he shows up, and I hope he's amazing. Because give me some more characters like that. Give me Clampdown. Give me Tiger Track 2. When Sunstreaker comes out from Earthrise, I'm hoping we see Coordinate spin out. I want them. I want them all.
So how are these figures going to be decoed is the question we're staring at this point. Like, Bumblebee will be Bumblebee. It'll be, Yellow Cliff Jumper. Fine. Probably a new head sculpt.
So
Alita 1, we said, is going to be the RC, probably with a new head. How do you make the Wheeljack different from...
It's the same as Hound and Sideswipe.
So, the same thing, just a little different dirt.
Yes. The dirt thing that they're doing now, though, is actually kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I think, Lucas, you can confirm this, but on those figures, it looks like the base plastic color is the kind of gray color, and they do a gradient wash over that for battle damage. And then, like, the red and green for Hound or for Sideswipe and Hound it's paint. Is that correct?
That's right. So for most of the figures, not all of the tooling, but a good chunk of it for like all the deluxes and, well, really, honestly, all the figures. The Megatron's the same way. Like, all of it's paint on top of it. So that's the thing I think is really interesting is like, I would have never known that Sideswipe, for example, like, I would have assumed it would be a red car with a gray deco on top, but it's actually a gray car with red paint on top.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, if you look inside the figure, like when you flip it to transform it, like you can tell that the parts are gray, like the chest and whatnot.
That's interesting. Crazy. I guess if you're a kid and you're playing with these toys and you're smashing them up, as that toy gets more scuffed over time, he'll get more gray battle damage, right? Is that how that works?
I hadn't considered that, but maybe.
Yeah. Huh. All right. Okay.
So switching Wheeljack to that would really enhance that deco, I think, over the Earthrise. That white is not necessarily the best white it could be for Wheeljack, and that's okay. I like it enough as it is, but it seems like if it continues the trend of the Netflix figures, that it will be much better.
Oh, all right. Well, I guess I'll have to see. I guess.
So I think anybody who's returning will follow suit of Chromia, Hound, and Sideswipe. Mm-hmm. Chromia did it pretty well. I think Hound and Sideswipe did it worse. Sideswipe in the middle, I guess. Hound did it worst.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to see. I could see where they could do really well with like Wheeljack, like we were talking about, or Barricade. I think they could do really well. Impactor also. perhaps could benefit from that kind of treatment. But I won't need them again. Probably.
What is with this bizarre trend, this bizarre obsession that seems to be popping up in toy manufacturing, where the more paint you slop on something, the better it is? What is that? Why are we doing that? Like, all the masterpieces now, it's like, oh, it has so much more paint. It's like, I don't care. I don't want more paint. I'm happy to have them mold and cast in those colors because paint just chips. I hate that. I don't want my paint to chip. I just want it to be the toy that I can transform and fiddle with and put on my shelf and not have to worry about, oh, crap, I scuffed it because, I looked at it funny. I don't want that. I don't ever want that. So why do we why is it moving in that direction? Why is everything getting so much more paint now?
I mean, I
think
agree with that.
Everyone said we want more paint.
Right. The thing is, though, is like, I haven't really had issues with my mainline figures scuffing, and of course, probably part of it is I don't notice it because it has battle damage on it. But
right.
So it's already scuffed up or whatever. But I really just notice it on the masterpiece figures because they've got like 20 coats of paint on them, and so then you get a chip in it, and it's just, and the other thing is too with those there's so much detailing on the Generations figures that you wouldn't notice either. Whereas, like, all of the masterpiece figures are these, like, it's a solid one color, like, kind of like Inferno or something like that, where it's, like, just red upon red. So, yeah, I don't know. I honestly like to have more paint. Like, I'd much rather have paint and tampos than I would, than stickers, like, myself, so...
I'll take molded plastic anytime over paint because, things chip. Entropy wins in the end. There's nothing you can do. And I'd rather fight the entropy as long as I can.
I mean, I'm kind of in the middle ground, whereas I want paint for the details, and then I want, the molded plastic, like a nice molded plastic.
Yeah, right.
For the main part of the figure, like the parts that may potentially rub against each other and all that. Like, you don't really want paint because it's going to rub off.
Give me paint for all the cool deco stuff. Like that Wheeljack, the Earthrise Wheeljack is beautiful. He's got all these little tampo details, and I really, really like that figure a lot. I'm curious to see how they change it for the Netflix release, what that's going to mean. But it's a toy that I can transform back and forth a million times, and I don't have to worry about, oh crap, now I scuffed the paint and I screwed him up. I like that one. I like him a lot. He's a good figure.
Can I say a crazy pie in the sky thing about Wheeljack?
Yes. It's not going to happen.
It won't happen. I know it won't happen.
I know where you're going. It's not going to happen. But go ahead.
What if somehow they repaint the Ratchet Ironhide Crosshairs mold as Wheeljack, so we can finally get our boxy Wheeljack?
Huh. Okay, that's not where I thought you were going. I thought you were going to say, what if they repaint Wheeljack into, exhaust?
That's
some sort of...
dude.
Is it? Are they doing an exhaust?
Yeah. They are. It's going to be a Select.
It's a Select figure.
Oh.
That was on some leak. I mean, well, I guess it's not gospel. Like, it's not 100%.
What you thought was never going to happen has already been leaked.
I read this stuff and, like, I forget all about it until I see actual photos of things.
No,
well, that's exciting. I love exhaust.
It's one of my favorites. Like, okay, this is a thing I've had for about Siege and now Earthrise, since Earthrise has been revealed to be like Earth modes of the dudes we just got, particularly the Seekers and the Lamb and the Datsuns. Yeah. If they weren't going to stick with Cybertronian modes, why didn't they use Siege to give us Cybertronian modes of characters with Cybertronian modes that made sense, aka Bumblebee and
Wheeljack? Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Or Jazz. Jazz has one that we saw in the show. He would be great. The Tetrajets made sense. That's totally fine. The Datsuns are egregious. I mean, that's unnecessary.
They were nice
do
figures,
them
though.
And then do them again in a better Earth mode. That's just cruel.
But that Cybertronian mode Sideswipe is a beautiful toy. It's well engineered.
Sure.
It's fun to transform. It's great to pose.
I would get rid of it in a heartbeat if they did an Earth mode. Yeah. So give me my box Wheeljack, please. And they won't do it. That's not what the Earthrex figure is. I 100% know that. But what if it was, though?
Yeah, if it was a box
cool.
Wheeljack, that'd be really interesting.
I think
I think the reason they haven't done that is because
Jack in the box.
what were you saying, Sean?
In the cartoon, they're the weird Cybertronian alt modes, but when
Yeah.
they transform, they're the Earth mode bodies, So I don't know how they would actually get that to come across.
I don't know if they were making new molds for Siege, which they made all new molds for Siege. Do it. With repaints now, I don't think even if they did do it from the Ratchet Ironhide Crosshairs mold, it wouldn't look appropriate. I mean, they could maybe turn it around and try something like that. But it would kind of be close enough for me.
You know who could have done a box mode Wheeljack for you like that? The club or BotCon. Aww.
Well, hey, you know what? If you really want it, just talk to Sean. Maybe he can customize.
That is way too. How are you gonna get the let's say Wheeljack, for example? He's a box that looks like Ironhide, basically. A space wedge. Whenever it transforms, then all of a sudden he has his sleek Earth mode parts on him. How are you gonna make that look right whenever you go from?
I wouldn't ask you to do that, Sean. I'd just ask you to paint up a Ratchet in Wheeljack colors with a Wheeljack head and the.
I'm willing to make some sacrifice. The real trick is the wings.
I'll totally sacrifice it. No big deal.
As long as he's got the wings,
I understand
it looks right.
what's possible and what isn't.
Not looking to bend the laws of physics here.
Yeah.
No.
But I do think that
there's nothing you can make for B. Like there's nothing you can repaint to even be close to B. Yeah. But I'd be willing to accept that Wheeljack.
I do think that is one of the things. Like one of the complaints I think that we both had is the fact that the Cybertronian modes are not honestly that much different than the Earth modes. But there's probably a reason they do that is because, again, this is probably somewhat aimed for kids, or it's aimed for all these people that want G1. And I think, like, as you said, if it turns into some kind of weird alt mode, then it's not going to turn into it's not going to look right in robot mode or whatever, but I don't know. And then I say that, but then I also don't really like the Soundwave in some of those figures too. So it's kind of like, they gave me that for Soundwave and I just want the tape mode. So
if they're saying that they can't make Jack in the Box because Wheeljack is that sleek race car, then why even bother with Cybertronian modes? Why even bother? Don't do it. If they're gonna be close enough, just do Earth modes.
Mm.
So one thing, and I know that they're talking in the chat about Cheetor, and so we've heard rumors. I know, Christian, you've been beating this drum that Wave 3 of the War for Cybertron was going to include some Beast Wars figures, and of course, I think it's the 25th anniversary for Beast Wars as well. Is that right?
Next year. Yep.
And so for next year, and so like a lot of that's pointed to that. Is this Cheetor, this rumored it's coming out, is that pointing even more in that direction, and that's at least not all of, like, I'm sure that they're not going to go full on Beast Wars, because you're never going to go full on Beast Wars, right?
Yeah,
but
you can't do this to me. Like, they did what? Nothing for the 20th anniversary. They're not going to do anything for the 25th anniversary. We're just going to be SOL Beast Wars fans.
We got Delta Primal for like $200, and we got a logo on a box set. That was great. What a great 20th anniversary.
Delta Primal?
Oh, that's what I call the Year of the Monkey.
Oh, okay.
The air attack with the red and the blue. With
Yeah, that was some anniversary celebration. It sure was a lot of fun.
Actually, in the years since then, in various interviews, I've read them over the weekend. Warden has said that they know it's coming, that they're trying to pick stuff. It seems that they're trying to pick stuff. So I'm a little bit more hopeful this time. because they didn't even talk about it for the 20th.
You can't hurt me again like that. I won't let myself get hurt like that again.
They have been talking about the 25th. They are aware.
I don't believe you.
You don't have to believe me. It doesn't mean it's not true. What are you eating? This is not whatever is up here is not for eating for cats.
So I heard, I can't remember who it was. Somebody was speculating, what if they just took the Universe Cheetor and like repainted that and used that for
no.
That mold was terrible.
Okay, so that Walmart listing does say reissue on it, but if they're going to reissue any Cheetor at a $20 price point, it's going to be the original one.
No way, Jose. If at this point, if it's anything like that, it'll
My
be
name's Christian.
Yeah, you totally threw me off.
I got you.
You did. You got me. Look, if they're gonna do anything with a Cheetor toy that's recent and is a reissue, it would have to be the Cyberverse one. There's just some extra bells and whistles on it, or give it an armor or some stupid thing to make it be a $20 price point figure. It's what you're looking at. There's no way they're gonna go back and reissue like the 1996 Cheetor figure. Not happening.
Look, man, we got a 1996 figure in 2014 for Age of Extinction. It's not being possible. Yeah, I'm right.
You are right. That is very bizarre. That was an outlier.
A 1996 one and a 1998 one. Both of those were what? Walmart exclusives.
Who was the 98 one?
Killer Punch. Or Guile Dart.
Oh, no shit. Sorry.
You're fine.
They were both Walmart exclusives.
So
you were 100% correct. I apologize.
Did the Walmart listing listed as a reissue for Cheetor? I don't remember that.
It says reissue on it.
It does? Okay.
It says War for Cybertron, Siege in for Netflix, reissue, Cheetor. It might say even one other thing, but I checked out the page when they put it up last week. It is a confusing page.
Interesting. Of course, who knows?
If I had my druthers about me, I'd much rather it be Transmetal Cheetor, but that won't happen.
Sure. That'd be fine. Yeah. They reissued the other one for the 10th anniversary, so they could do Transmetal this time. I don't think they will, but they might.
Yeah.
It definitely won't be TM2, and it definitely won't be anything or Beast Machines. But
we don't even talk about that.
It could be the 96 Deluxe.
It could be.
I don't know why you would put it in War for Cybertron. I don't know why you would put it in Siege. I don't know why you would include it in this assortment. Unless they just didn't want to make a full caseload of each of these things exclusive. Maybe. It would be unusual as far as Walmart's thing goes. So, I don't know. It says reissue on it. Maybe it doesn't. When you ring up Astro Train, the reissue at Walmart right now, it comes up as reissue spring.
Because it was the spring toy. No, it was the spring toy. Spring release,
yes. Yeah. Everyone's like, does that mean Springer's coming? No, it's the spring release. So this could be nothing. Like all the half the Netflix figures are reissues.
Right.
So it could mean nothing.
Christian, do you have a link to the to that thing? Like, would you be able to post that in the chat or like in the Discord or something? Because I know that Rodimus was asking like where that was at. So
yeah, I don't have it on me. Right, I walked in about 30 seconds before we went live, so I don't have any of my material with me at this moment.
I have list of this is the list of everything. It's not the one that says reissue on it. One of the other websites had the thing that said reissue.
I know there's a Walmart. Like, you should be able to go straight to Walmart and look it up.
Yeah, Walmart.com and try and find it in the backlogs, but I'll look for it again.
So
I got the EAN.
It says it. Yeah, so see if you can find the Walmart page with that on it.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the Beast Wars in general, like, I don't know. We may just get it. There's been that movie that's rumored, and if that comes, then maybe that's where they're expecting to drop the figures in that line. I don't know. I mean, who knows? Like, again, that movie's still a rumor. That's not confirmed. So
that something's coming in 2022.
So sounds like Paul's in the chat now, so we just need him to give us all the news. Right.
I might be able to go off camera for a moment and grab it if you want me to.
But yeah, I know, Paul, we were just kind of talking at the end about whether or not, these figures, like, are they going to be released in the main line? What does the Cheetor mean for the Beast Wars and whatnot? Like, are we going to get more Beast Wars characters in the next War for Cybertron? So, Paul says it's not a reissue, so...
Yeah.
I mean, I agree
All
that.
right,
I mean, it may just
that's
be
fine.
that the listing's weird or something. So
That seems more
this is
likely.
weird.
Yeah.
But, so
I'm looking.
I don't know, but overall, I mean, what do you guys think about getting these like repaints in general? Like, I think one thing that's really cool is like the fact that there's so much interest in Transformers that we're actually getting these. Like, that's pretty neat. Like, the fact that you actually see like a shipper, end cap with Transformers at Walmart. Like, I mean, that's, it sounds like the brand's actually is pretty healthy and doing pretty well, that they can actually sell all these figures.
Sure. What was the question in that, Lucas?
Oh, just in general, the fact, like, because I know Christian's been annoyed by the fact that we're getting all these repaints of the figures, and so
Right.
he doesn't like it. But again, like, you don't have to buy
Specifically, I'm annoyed by same character repaints.
Okay, so then I got a great hypothetical question for you. You work for Hasbro now, and it was your job to decide on the decos for these Walmart exclusive figures that have to push your animated series. How do you change them and make them, appeal to fans and yet still saleable to the mommy buy me that crowd? What do you do? How do you fix it? How do you paint Hound and Sideswipe and Chromia to make them more interesting and still saleable? What do you do? How do you not do exactly what they did?
I'm trying to
I mean,
think
that's
of
the
another
thing.
way to do it. I mean,
You
I understand
can't-
it. Like I said earlier, I understand it. It doesn't mean I have to like it. Like, I totally get it. It's
So,
just,
here we
I'm
are,
annoyed.
4 grouchy old men sitting here complaining about it. Okay, fix it. How do you fix it? Tell me.
You're right. Also, you can be old. I'm not nearly as old as you are.
Yes. Something exclusive to them. There you go. Add more accessories. See? This guy is
And we have the
thinking.
backtrack thing for it. Man, I keep coming across this weird listing for Cheetor at Collecticon Toys.
But yeah, I mean, I think in general, like, for most of the characters, they have to look like the model. Like,
Right.
you can't, Mirage or whatever, they painted him weird, but that's going to be a show element, right?
Sure,
So
yeah.
you're not going to do some weird show element for every single character. It's just not going to happen. So you're going to have some of those. But I think, again, like, it's neat that, because I know I've had this issue with my kids with shows they watch on Netflix where they watch a show and they say, "Dad, I want toys of that," and I can't get them toys of that because that show is from however many years ago, and the listing on eBay is overpriced and whatever, and so it's like I'm not willing to pay that. Like, I know, like, people have had this issue with rescue bots. Where a lot of those
And they've
older
done
rescue bots
their
are-
absolute damnedest to try and keep those evergreen available. They are always putting those in refreshers, and like I'm finding toys from 4 or 5 years ago still on shelves. So they try really hard with that one, and they still can't get it with the characters that I'm sure you were going to mention. Who was it? Was it the garbage guy or something? I forget. But there are a bunch
There's
of them
been a
that
few
are $1
different
million
ones.
now.
Right. God, I can't remember. Was it the ship? I can't remember his name.
I think that's one of them.
That's one of them.
Like,
but yeah,
yeah.
there's a few of those where I was like, God, if only I would have like known that rescue bots was going to be the thing. Like,
Oh, High Tide. You're thinking
High Tide. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
It's like all you fools, getting MP44 or whatever and thinking that's going to go up in value. Oh no, you just got a case of High Tides and you would have been sitting pretty.
Right, absolutely right. But like, who knows? You can never predict it.
Right.
Is it the character that's going to get recycled into every wave for the next 3 years? Like some of the dinosaur guys, or is it going to be, the boat or the garbage truck or whoever? You don't know. You don't know. You can't predict it. So, yeah, there's still some of those I got to go back and fill in, and it kills me because I'm not paying that price. It's just not happening.
You don't have to, Nick. I'm telling you don't have to.
Yeah, you
But
really
I'm
don't.
that close to the full set on them, so like
You don't have to.
It's okay.
I'm gonna do it.
Is it gonna be like one of those like late night on eBay kind of things where you're like, all right, screw it. This has been on my watch list for like a year now. Oh man. But I don't know. I mean,
So
I
we
think
need to
again,
have a better solution.
Yeah.
Department? Really?
I think someone else had said, put more of the blast effects in with it as well.
Oh, that's good.
Ugh.
Because you can use those with any figure. They're an instant added value, and they gotta cost nothing to make.
You could throw them into a box and never look at them again because they are awful.
How do you hate the blast effects? They're one of the coolest things
hate
they
them
have.
so
You're out
much.
of your mind. You're
They're the
crazy.
worst. They're so bad.
The play value is through the roof on those things, though.
No, they're not. It looks
Really?
it looks horrible.
You're nuts. I love them. I think they're great. Give
No.
me all the energy effects.
You want a bag of energy effects, Nick? I got words for you. You take mine, please.
Take
And
my
you
energy
know-
effect, please.
in 5 years when you go sell the figure and you can't sell it as complete because he doesn't have those blast effects.
That's the only reason.
You mean when he sells them to me and then I have to dig out the parts that he gave me? Yeah,
Heck
that'll
yeah.
drive me a little insane.
That'll be my revenge.
Why do you hate me? I thought we were friends.
Call me old. I don't know.
So,
It's weak. It's weak.
yeah, I don't know.
Just a torture.
So, I mean, I feel like in actuality that it's somewhat of a non-issue that they have these repaints that come out a year later that, may be nicer looking. Just because, like, I can't imagine, like, you have the regular people and kids and stuff, right, who don't really care and they're like, cool, Transformer, I saw it on Netflix, right? So it's going to attract those people. It's also going to attract the crazy people to buy everything, right? So there's like this small sliver of collector that like only wants one per character, but like, wants the nicest deco and is annoyed that he has to rebuy a figure. Like, I know that's you, Christian, but like, how many... Like I don't think in actuality it's enough that Hasbro really cares.
Yeah.
No, they don't, and I'm fine with it. Like I've said this whole time, I don't like it. It doesn't mean it doesn't make sense because it does.
Yeah.
I am Christian. I don't like it. That's the end of the statement. Not that it shouldn't be done or it's an abomination. It's I am me. I do not like it, and I am annoyed by it. The end.
But I think again, like Marvel Legends has been doing this forever. Like, how many repaints have they? Like, I mean, like all these characters. Like, how many Spider-Mans do you have, Sean? Or did you at one point of Marvel Legends?
All of them. No, like yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like the Bucky cap mold
Right.
was used on like everything.
Yeah.
Pizza Spidey mold was used on
How many
everything.
pieces Spideys do I have?
Good figure,
1,
though.
2, 3.
Right.
Good figure.
Wolverine mold, there's a good handful of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was a new Spidey mold.
So yeah, so like this isn't something new, you know. We've always seen repaints and whatnot, and ones again like that Pizza Spidey that's been reissued like a zillion times now at this point. So
I think my main problem is that this came at the same time as the Earthrise announcements, where we have the better Seekers, the better Datsuns, the better Megatron, the better Optimus. So it just seems like between the Netflix figures and between Netflix figures and Earthrise, that Siege doesn't really matter anymore. Like it was a waste of time for us to have been there from the beginning.
yeah,
That's my feeling, and that's all it is. And really, if you look at about half of Siege or more, is still relevant because you get your 8 faces and your Spinisters and your Smashdowns, although that's in Earthrise now too. It's fine. It really is. It just to introduce those two things right at the same time and right after the last Siege figure Astro Train came out felt like a slap in the face. That's all. And they're not. Hasbro is not obligated to cater to me and to other collectors, and if they did, I'm sure they would go out of business. But it still felt wrong.
I am curious whether or not we'll get another Soundwave with this pack, because that is one of the few characters that I've heard from a lot of collectors. Like, I think the Skywarp was one that was hard to find because, well, after it sold out, and people were snoozing on it. But the Soundwave, legitimately, like, I've heard a lot of people that could not find that Soundwave in store. And so I think he would actually be a pretty good one to repack, or do like a new updated one or something like that too.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him in a Netflix pack.
Yeah.
And instead, 2 Battle Masters, maybe do 2 tapes.
Two different tapes. You watch, he'll be the next one of the next Voyager assortment exclusives. That would make a lot of sense.
Garboil and Halbach.
I would actually like to see him. I would kind of like to see him as
all my money.
Christian. What if you took him and made him a leader price point, but threw a ton of tapes with him? How excited would you be for that?
Awesome. I mean, I'd be annoyed to have to get another Soundwave, but I'd be happier that I would get all those new tapes. As long as they were all new tapes, not, the same 4 we already have and like 2 new ones.
No, they would just be repainted.
It's Laserbeak again. Oh.
Has there been a Buzzsaw? There hasn't been a Buzzsaw yet, right? So there you go.
Yet.
They got to do a Buzzsaw. So
Buzzsaw, Garboil, Halbach. Whatever.
Singing a pretty song there, my friend.
Enemy.
Enemy!
New molds. Give me, Beastbox and Squawk Talk and Slugfest and Overkill and an Auto Scout.
Well, let's not get crazy because that ain't happening.
It's happening.
Not until they're announcing, new figures.
Long-time listeners know my thing with tapes. Just give me a size class. I don't care which. Masterpiece, this one, the PDAs from Titans Return. Release all the tapes.
Yeah.
Just give them to me in all one form.
Mm-hmm. Christian, I feel like somehow you can will this into being, right?
I think, what did my will get you? My will last year was for Reflector. Did I already use it up this year on something? What am I going for right now? I don't remember.
Maybe, could we get Don in on it too? Like, could we get him to... You're like, all right, I'm past Headmaster RC. I just need some more tapes.
That's true. His will, over a long period of time, made that happen. See, I told Anna I would use part of my will to make Cyberverse Rack and Ruin into Rockboard Sticks and Stones. Just a little piece of my will towards that. I don't think that's
going to happen.
It might happen. It won't happen. I'm gonna put 1% of my will towards that. And I can't remember what I'm willing into existence anymore. Oh, it's Omega Sentinel / Rocket Base. That's what I'm going for.
And that probably that makes some sense. Yeah. So
that, and this goes back to something I have harped on many years now. They used to do, it was the big San Diego exclusive was like the Titan repaint or whatever that year, right? And so they did Devastator, and it was that awful chrome. And what was it? It The year after that?
Metroplex. Before that.
Well, there's a Metroplex, like, originally.
Devastator, and then Fort Max.
Like,
and that's it.
3 wasted opportunities. 3 completely wasted opportunities.
Metro Titan and Brave Max, yeah.
Yes! Or yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so here we are again facing the same thing. Why isn't there an Omega Supreme repainted into Rocket Base / Omega Sentinel?
Hey, you know what? Rocket Base has a cool color scheme that goes along with, Skylinks.
Sure. Yes.
And they could launch the space shuttle off with the Rocket Base. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Where's my Trypticon repainted into Gigastorm? I know that'll never happen, but I can dream.
No,
I wanted to.
Rick had a good story because, like, when he was at Hasbro, back then for the Metroplex San Diego Comic-Con one, and he's like, we have to reissue it into Metro Titan, and everyone at Hasbro was like, who? Like, what are you talking about? so that's what, not everyone, but, like, the marketing guys that he was talking to or whatever had no idea who Metro Titan was, so, yeah. But I do think that we need a new Soundwave with some more tapes so that we can sit there and debate with Anna when the Magic Square figures come out, and we can try to say that the Hasbro ones are better than Magic Square.
I can't even see a Magic Square tape, so Hasbro wins.
So, anyway.
Omega Sentinel. Yeah. Omega Sentinel.
Is that the first time you've heard that idea from me, Nick? I thought we talked about that one before.
We probably have.
Okay, cool.
We've probably talked about it. I can't remember. I'm senile and forget things easy.
It matches Skylinks. Skylinks is coming out. Why not have a 2 Titan year?
Yeah, it would be really nice.
I like that Paul. So Paul in the chat is asking. He's like, "What was the topic tonight?"
we finished the topic like 20 minutes ago.
Central.
Yeah, exactly. So Paul, tonight we decided to throw our tangents at the end of the show instead of the beginning of the show. So
that's
like
the professional way to do it, Paul.
If you actually tune in like an hour and a half ago, like we tried to be professional and try to like kind of actually follow a script, and now it's just kind of off the rails and and whatever. So
I think the last salient point I had was 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, so if we're gonna get back on topic here, I got one more question for everybody.
Okay.
What's next? What's after Earthrise? What's part 3? If we're doing this cartoon, and the first part of the cartoon is War for Cybertron, Siege, and the second part is Earthrise, where are we going from here?
Well, narratively, we have to go back to Cybertron, and we have to win the war, right?
Do we have to go back to Cybertron?
You know what? My original idea, what I heard from my various sources, was that Siege is, the war gets lost, Earthrise is the journey to Earth, and the third thing is Earth. But now Earthrise seems to be Earth. So
if I had to wager a guess here, here's my little theory I'm going to put out there. Is we're doing all these Battle Masters, Target Masters, and whatever else, and I know we just did Power of the Primes and then all the Headmaster stuff, but like, why not take the war to the rest of the galaxy? Why not do all those other planets like Cybertron, and then you can have all of your nods to Cybertron Galaxy Force and all those planets and things.
Earthrise was supposed to be. That's why we have the map.
Yeah.
That's what that is, and they decided to do all Earth modes instead.
Yeah. So what if part 3 is
happened.
The rest of the galaxy?
Just call it Transformers Galaxy. That'd be great.
Huh.
Although there's a comic series called Galaxies right now.
Yeah.
But call it Galaxy or call it whatever. I was thinking the end would be like Earthrise makes sense because Earth is like on the horizon. It's the goal at the end.
Sure.
And like the third thing would be like Victory. It would be a double homage.
Or Zone.
Zone. No, I just thought they would call it video game. That's the end of the war, right? Like you have Siege, and you have the middle part. They got to call it something, and then the end of the war is victory or defeat, and you're going to call it Transformers Defeat.
There can't be an end to the war because then that'd be it.
Well, then they redo another trilogy. That's fair.
Yeah, sure. Sure, but like you don't ever show the end of the war.
They need to go out to the other worlds. They need to go to the Beast planet. They need to go to the Japanese G1 planet where Raiden exists.
And that was kind of where I was going with it.
Velocitron. Yeah,
if you're going to do these different worlds, then you get to do all these Beast Wars toys next year.
Yeah, maybe
just in time for that anniversary that isn't happening.
Enough of them.
Yeah,
and throw in like a Cybertron Scourge at the same time. Who doesn't want to?
You know what would really make your head explode? Transformers Universe.
It's such a good title. I don't want to see it for a third time, the fourth time, fifth time. How many things have they used? They've used it on 2 toy lines. They've used it on a video game. I think they used it on a card game.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the next wave, like, I think you're going to see some Beast stuff, but then I think you may also see some more movie stuff as well. Like, we're already getting some movie stuff now in Earthrise, and I think you'll see more of that. I mean, I don't know. I still think that there's going to be another Hot Rod and a Galvatron and some of those kind of figures too, because
Galvatron is on the box. Galvatron's on the box for Earthrise.
So then I guess he'll be in part 3 then, yeah?
Part 3.
Hopefully.
Or
it could just be that tiny...
Or York Comic-Con this year.
San Diego, more likely.
There's going to be...
We can get Earthrise to San Diego.
What's up? What'd you say, Lucas?
I was going to say, there is a tiny little Galvatron coming with Unicron, so...
That's true.
I don't think that counts. Not for box art.
Unicron is War for Cybertron branded, right?
Yeah,
He's dropping in the spring in time for the third thing to do it. So maybe Unicron shows up at the end of Earthrise and creates mayhem throughout the Transformers Galaxy universe.
You mean like he could show up in the solar system and, I don't know, destroy Mars or something, and then we could do all that Victory stuff, right? Isn't that what happened in Victory? They blow up Mars?
That's a Peter question, not a Christian question.
I don't know.
But sure, Unicron shows up and Transformers from across the galaxy have to band together to beat. That's fine. You know, I think they integrate him into the story. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they decided to shift the plans and do the original Part 3 as Earthrise. I don't know. Christian's conspiracy hour.
I don't know. So I do hope, like they've been doing those like First Friday reveals and whatnot. Have we heard of like when they're going to do one for Transformers?
No, but we should be getting one soon. I mean, they've been going through all the brands. It's, we'll get one.
Seems to be a rotating feature as they have news to announce. So
I'm curious to see what they're going to do for, now that San Diego Comic-Con's canceled. Like, are they going to try and do their own online like announcement of all the brands pretty much?
Yeah.
Yep, they're going to be leveraging that through the Pulse thing.
Yeah, and I imagine it'll still be tied into, like, San Diego will be cross-promoting. It's a large enough thing that San Diego will want to have their stamp on it. Comic-Con International,
As far as toys go, they said in the Marvel Legends one on Friday that the exclusives that were planned for that will go up.
Yeah.
No problem.
What is that noise?
What?
Are you moving stuff on your desk?
Oh, sorry.
Dude.
Wow.
All right. Well, I know we've kind of gone off the rails here.
It was fun, though. We had a good time getting here.
Right. I do want to mention, so tomorrow night we're going to finally finish up the Seacons. So now that I'm not even sure if you can get any in the at Pulse anymore. I think they're all like sold out. So, but if you want to get the repaint of that God Neptune, that is up on Pulse right now. So make sure and get that in because I can't remember when that ends, but it's pretty soon.
Tomorrow. It ends tomorrow.
Yeah. So
really?
Yes, it ends on the 26th, which is I think tomorrow, right? My days are confused.
Yeah.
It's in 2 hours.
Go
great. Get it.
Go get a God Neptune.
Yes.
Get one. Even if you don't want one, go buy one anyway.
Yeah. As we had said,
he makes good decisions.
as we had said on the show before, that the molds are really nice. They're upgraded compared to the old Combiner Wars figures. So I think that God Neptune is a cheaper way of getting these molds. Like you're only getting 5 instead of 6, but it's a little bit cheaper. So I think it's $185. I think is the set. Is that
I think
right?
that's right.
Yes.
Something like that.
So, but yeah, so we'll be reviewing the combined mode of the Seacons tomorrow night on Microcasters on Facebook. So check that out. Then we also should be doing Ouch My Wallet this week too. So check that out with Rob. That's on YouTube, 8:30 on Wednesday night. So do you guys have any final thoughts?
I'm excited to see what Siege is going to be as a show. I'm, despite anything negative I may have said tonight, I'm still really excited to see what it will be. I will absolutely be watching. I'll give it a shot, and all I hope is that it's something worth watching. So give me something good, guys. That's what I got.
As soon as there's any news about it, we'll be sure to push it out through our normal platforms you follow us on. So you'll know as soon as we do.
All right, Sean, do you have anything?
No, just Hasbro's putting the figures out before the show, so that's why there's no release date. They're trying to figure out when these figures are going to hit, so people can get hyped. And then once figures are out, they're like, "Here's your show." Suckered you. No. No, it'll be fine. It'll be something. They can't do worse than Combiner Wars, so.
That's true. That is a low bar.
Get into the ether. You've now dared them.
Yes.
I dare to be stupid.
Oh, jeez.
All right, guys.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone in the chat. So I appreciate that. Thank you guys for discussing that and going off the rails with us here. So,
Yeah.
and we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Good night, everybody.